Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, so what if you could build an AI to manage billions of dollars in the financial markets? But you could also build in a safety switch that it could never, ever override. Today, we're diving into a brand new framework that's trying to do exactly that. The goal? To make financial AI not just more powerful, but provably safe.
And this quote right here, it just perfectly sums up the core problem. See, most financial AIs are built to do well on an average day. They look fantastic on paper, they make steady gains, but they can lead to what are called catastrophic left-tail losses. That's just a fancy way of saying they were great 99% of the time, but in that rare 1%, a sudden market crash, a shock event, they can fail. And not just fail, but fail spectacularly. That's the dangerous tail this new approach is designed to tame. So really, you've got two completely different ways of thinking about AI in finance. On one side, you have your standard AI. It's laser-focused on one thing, maximizing the average profit. It's great for a normal Tuesday, but it is completely blind to those black swan disasters. But on the other side, you have this risk-sensitive approach. Its goal isn't just about profit, no. Its primary mission is to minimize the loss on the absolute worst day. It's literally designed to survive the storm.
Okay, so that's the big question, right? How do you actually build an AI that's not just profitable, but also fundamentally safe? Well, this new framework, it's called Tail-Safe, and it introduces a really clever hybrid approach to create a financial AI that you can actually trust.
The solution is actually a two-part system. It's got a learner and a guardian. Think of the learner like a brilliant, super creative strategist, always looking for the smartest move to make a profit. But, and this is key, it's paired with a guardian. And the guardian is like a strict, by-the-book co-pilot whose only job is to make sure every single move is safe and follows the rules. No exceptions.
So here's how that partnership actually works. It's a really simple but powerful two-step process. First, the learner comes up with an idea. It proposes a trade, but that trade cannot be executed until it gets past the guardian. The guardian checks it against a set of hard-coded rules, and if it's too risky, it corrects it or even stops it. The whole philosophy is learn first, but then filter for safety.
So what makes this guardian so trustworthy? Well, it's what's called a white box system. Now, you've probably heard of black box AI. It's like a magician, right? You see the amazing trick, but you have no idea how it was done. A white box is the complete opposite. It shows all its work. Every single decision it makes is transparent, it's logical, and you can audit it. And for anyone who's actually managing risk, that explainability is an absolute game changer.
All right, let's zoom in on the learner part of this duo. How does it actually learn to dodge a catastrophe? Well, it's been trained to think in a totally different way. It doesn't just focus on potential gains. It's actively trying to avoid the worst possible outcomes from the get-go.
So how does it do that? Well, it focuses on this metric called conditional value at risk, or CVAR. Now don't get hung up on the name. The concept is pretty straightforward. Most systems just worry about the chance of having a bad day. CVAR takes it a step further. It basically asks, okay, let's just assume we're already having one of our worst days ever. Now how much are we actually going to lose? It forces the AI to plan for the disaster, not just hope it never happens.
And this really gets to the heart of this whole risk-sensitive idea. The philosophy just isn't about hoping the storm doesn't hit. It's about building a system that is engineered from the ground up to survive when it inevitably does. It's a huge shift from just, hoping for the best to actually having provable resilience.
All right, let's switch gears and talk about the other half of this team, the guardian. This is the unblinking, totally transparent rule keeper. Its job is to enforce the hard rules of the real financial world and, crucially, to explain exactly why it's doing what it's doing. Now, don't worry about the math on this slide. The key thing to see here is how the guardian turns plain English business rules into unbreakable code. Each one of these lines translates a rule like, hey, don't borrow too much money, or don't sell more stock than you're allowed to, into a hard mathematical limit. These aren't just suggestions for the AI, they are digital walls that it is literally incapable of crossing. And this is that white box transparency in action. Every single time the guardian has to step in, it leaves behind this super detailed audit trail. This log answers all the critical questions you'd have. Which rule is about to be broken? How close were we to other limits? And, most importantly, did we find a safe path forward? It automatically answers the why behind every single safety intervention, which is just essential for building trust in the system.
So what does a system like Tail-Safe really mean for the future of AI? Not just in finance, but in any high-stakes field? Well, it signals a pretty critical shift in focus.
We're moving from an obsession with raw performance to a new era of provable trust.
And the results from testing are, well, they're really compelling. This chart compares a standard AI to the Tailsafe AI. Just look at that bar on the right. Tailsafe massively cuts down the risk of those catastrophic losses we talked about. And here's the kicker. It does all this without really sacrificing its day-to-day profitability. You get all the protection without giving up the performance.
But this, right here, might be the most important number in the entire study. 0. In all the simulations, the system had exactly 0 hard constraint violations when the safety layer was turned on. This proves what the researchers call safety by construction. It's not just unlikely to break the rules. It's designed to be physically incapable of it.
And that really brings us to our final thought. This whole learner-guardian model, it isn't just for finance. It's a potential blueprint for building trust into any powerful AI system. It shows us how to take incredible performance and pair it with a safety layer that is both transparent and absolute. So the real question we're left with is, if we can build a guardian for our markets, what else should we be protecting?